Hello and welcome to the complete tutorial of KickJS. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you and guide you on how to build your API, backend APIs using KickJS. You'll get to learn most of the things that you need to work with and the philosophy behind KickJS. Why does it exist? Why does it do things the way it's doing it? Okay, so to get started, you can see we have this command npx for KickJS CLI to start up a new project, but we are going to start a project in a very simple way. Okay, so we'll start off by going to our terminal. Then I'll just go to my desktop, then create a directory known as maybe to do simple to do kick, let's call it kick. Then I'll just open VS Code, simple to do kick. Okay, so I'll open VS Code there. So with this, I have this I'm working with the assumption that you are someone who has worked with JavaScript, TypeScript, and you know basics of backend development. Okay, so to start off, we'll just start simple, creating a new project. Okay, when you create a new backend project, what we'll start with is we'll run pnpm init. Okay, this should create a package JSON which now isolates this project and specifies some of the things we need to have here. Currently, you can see this is now an added security, so we'll have the name of the project, the version, the entry file, scripts. These are now the scripts you can run. Another thing is package manager. Then you can see we have the name, the version, and if it does not exist, we need to download it. Okay, so that's the package manager I've used, that is pnpm. You can use npm if you wish. The next thing is to now install dependencies that we want to use. So you can explore this project from npm. Okay, so it's available on npm, and you can see this is how you can install it. So we'll just copy this command, but I told you we also have this web project known as npmx, where you can just search. So if you're using npmx for this, then now I'll just switch here and use pnpm. Should give me the pnpm command. I'll just copy that back to my terminal. Where's VS Code? Back to VS Code, then I'll just write pnpm add pnpm add. So we'll need KickJS and we'll need reflect metadata, reflect metadata. Another thing we'll also need here is Zod, because it's using Zod by default. I think is express. Then afterwards we'll need to install some dev dependencies, which now will be just confirm. So which will be types of express, types node, tsx, and TypeScript. So we'll need TypeScript, tsx, then types node, and at types express. Okay, so this should install these dependencies. and we should have our package lock here generated for us. In the meantime, I'll need to create a file known as tsconfig.json. So this one will be there's just something here. So yes, build, make this true, save, so that it rebuilds. Okay, so we have the basic dependencies installed, that is for KickJS, Express, Reflect, and Zod. We also have Express, types of Express. These are now just for development. The next thing you need is now the tsconfig.json, which I just have this example here. You can generate it using pnpx. So you can currently there's a tool like pnpx, which is like a substitute for npx, but for pnpm that is. You can use that, but I'm going to, so you can run pnpm tsc, is it -t, I think so, I don't know. So it's init, I think. So tsconfig is present but will not be loaded if, okay, let me delete it. Okay, -t. Okay, let's just create it manually. tsconfig.json. Then I'll just paste these here. You'll see in the compiler section, just set the target to ES 2022, module to ES next, module resolution as a bundler, lib ES 2022, make it strict, ES module interrupt, skip lib check. Then these are very important, the experimental decorators and emit decorator metadata. That will be very, 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 very important. So the next thing is now to set up our server, that is. So we'll open, create a folder known as source. In here we'll just create an index.ts. So with that, we'll start by importing Bootstrap from KickJS. Then we'll export const app. Then we'll have our Bootstrap there. Then we can just have so this should be async, we await. In here we can pass things like port, let's say port, where's our port? Let's say 3000. Okay, so we need modules. Modules is required. 3000, we'll need modules, which for now will just be empty array. Then we can just say here in our script section, we can just say dev, yeah, now it understands. So if now I come to my terminal, then run pm dev, you should be able to see we have our application running on port 3000. Okay, if I open this, you will see we are getting not found. Okay, so this means the server is running and everything is up. By default nowadays, VS Code is launching these links internally, so don't worry about that. So let's set up our first module. Okay, so we'll create folder here known as modules. Okay, so then I'll have an index.ts. Okay, so in here, let's say I have maybe a to do. I just have a simple to do. Then inside the to do, I'll have a to do dot module dot ts. Okay, then I'll have a controller. Let's call it to do dot controller dot ts. So in the module, we'll import define module. Okay, so define module from KickJS. So export const to do module, which will be define module. The name will be to do module. So in here, we'll have our build section. So in the build, we have this build as a function or just build itself. So we'll use let's say you can have your version there, but you won't use that. What I'll want us to have is to set this build. So then this build should return controller. So we have routes, which we can have as an array or just return just say, so module routes, they should be module routes. So whatever is being returned here does not satisfy that. So let's just have it as return an array here. So path will be to do's. So we won't set the so you can pass your router if you're someone who is using let's say you want to use the Express. You can just import this from Express. Let's say router. You can import router. Then here you can define your router. Okay, so you can pass your router, but we need a controller. So instead of using this router, we need a controller for this instead of that. So you'll just set your controller, which is that. Then we need to define our controller on this other end. So export class to do controller. So then this should be mapped with at controller from KickJS. So we call it. Then let's say just return to do's. So get to do's should give us that. So currently we're not doing anything which with the type system, so you'll just appreciate later on what this is capable of. So we are just doing things the mundane way. So we need get from KickJS. So this should just be the first / path here, so that whatever we have in the module is whatever will be mapped here. So whatever path you set on this other end should propagate to this other end. So we'll just take this controller here and mount it here. So path is missing. So yeah, so you can have your routes can be returned as array, or you can just return as oh god, you can return a single single object, or you can just return an array, so both works. Okay, so the config, this is now the configuration you might want to pass. Then you have the context, which is now the build context, and you can try and see whatever we have in the ctx so ctx dot scope, so you can access the scope of the context, but that is way ahead of us. So we just need to get these to-dos working. So currently, where's the browser itself? So close this. So if we come here to to-dos, it's not there. If I come and say API v1 to-dos, it's not there yet. So we come back to our module, we have it there mounted. Then we come to the index section, we import define modules. So this should be modules, not module. Then we export const modules, which will be define modules. So you call it, then you mount, okay, your to-dos module. So you mount your to-dos module, then you call it, okay. So that is that. Once that is in place, then you can just modules should mount. Now if we refresh, I think where's our server? So is it really refreshing? Looks like this is not refreshing. So let's open another server. Let me use git bash. Okay, I see why. So when you're working with the TSX, you need to, if you need a watch mode, then you have to say here watch, no, -w, so that it can watch. So pnpm dev dev, there is a way it should be watching. Watch. I'm not sure if which command works here. Yeah, so it should be watching, okay? So you can see now, if now I come and refresh this, we are not getting any response. So that is because you see, a return does not really work with HTTP methods. So we come back to our to-do controller. Instead of here, we can put we have this context which will be injected for us. So we get ctx. So here I can just say ctx.json. So currently it's not typed, so you can see TSX is watching for changes. TSX is watching. So if now I come back and refresh, now you can see we have our to-dos loaded here for us. So you can see the magic that has done for us. So with this, you have a basic API. We haven't used the KickJS tooling, and you can see what we just have here. We're just using the native TypeScript, TSX, and just simple packages. So this is how lean you can use KickJS. But now there are more things now you can really leverage on. So let's say we can type this to context, http context, it's request context. So you can type it using the request context. Now you can see now everything is type safe. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so the next thing is here now. How do you work with let's say environment variable? So if I'd say I want to get a single to do, let's say now I have a service here, to do dot service dot ts. Okay, so we'll create a service class to do service. So this is what it will do. So we'll have to do's, which will be we need to create here a type to do, which will just be that. Then we have list of to do's here. Afterwards, then if we need to get to do's, we just do that. Add to do, then we can supply the title. Okay, complete to do. This won't be so much important for us, so just using autocomplete there to make me finish this very fast. So what will happen here? We have this to do service. We need the controller to consume it. So what we need to do is to mark these. So let's say, see, nowadays I just want to experiment if that works. Constructor private read only to do service. So we import this to do service, which is a class. So I'm not sure if this will work. This is the first time I'm using this, but it said if you just pass the service like this, it should be able to inject and emit those metadata for us. Okay, so let's see. So let me see at get, let's say id, then no get to do by id. So get the id, then to do service will no, this should get for us the get. The service itself should be able to handle this for us. So get to do by id. If we come to our controller, should give us get to do by id. Okay, so if not to do, so not found, so we'll return not found. Okay, we just call not found. Should return the http for not found. So that's that. So we can check this. You can see we have internal server error, and you can see we are having error handler cannot read property of undefined dot get to do's. So this means the class has not been injected in our controller, right? So we can just say here at auto wired. So you pass auto wired, should refresh. Now if I refresh again, you can see still not there. Let me see. Let me try with inject. Okay, let me. So take this, pass here, then refresh. Still not there. Let's try it in another way. So let's go to service. Yeah, I think I know why. So let's first remove this. Make sure it's the way it was. Retry. Nothing works. Come to the service. Now we need to inject it with service. We mark it with the service at service there, service decorator. Now try again. If that fails, then I don't know. So that has failed. Come to our controller. Try again with at auto wired. See whether that works. Still doesn't work. Let me try this other way. Okay, let's try. Okay. Why does bash not stop these processes? So npm dev. Okay, so we have to do controller two routes, which are get, refresh. We still can't get the get to do's. Okay, how do we solve this? Let me see something. So let me try inject. If that will work, still doesn't work. So this means what is it? This dot. Okay. In the controller itself. So let's try and inject it outside the constructor, if that will work. Refresh, and you can see now we are having our to-dos resolved. So that didn't work with the constructor injection, so it worked with the property injection. So we have our basic API working here. Now if I say I want maybe to do one, you can see I'm able to retrieve to do by ID. So with this we have already created a simple application with KickJS, and we haven't really gone through most of the things that we have on this other end. We haven't used this command. So if we click on get started, we will have a series of details you need to. It will generate a lot of boilerplate for you, so where we can be able to configure this application. So that is now working with the KickJS bare bones. In the next video, I'm going to now use the KickJS CLI for project creation, so that we can go through, look at the caveats, and you've seen how simple it is to get started, how you write your tsconfig JSON, the packages you need to install, which are just KickJS, Express, Reflect, and Zod. Also, we have express types. These are just for development purposes, and we've seen how to set up a simple dev server using you see, one thing you've noticed here, we are not writing app.start or app.run, so it's just running on its own. Then you just set the port, load your modules. There are still a lot of things we can put here, which we'll discuss in later series. So I hope these can help you get started with the KickJS. Stay tuned for more tutorials on KickJS. Thanks for watching.